said we go back to Chicago. The perspective now from Chicago comes from Byron Sigcho-Lopez, city alderman from Chicago. Welcome to the show. You probably heard some of our earlier conversation about what's going on in your city. I put up what the mayor's been saying, essentially, right problem, wrong solution. The president's moving forward, not necessarily today with the Guard, but with this ICE operation. Your thoughts on what should be happening as opposed to what is happening in Chicago from your point of view?
Thank you very much, and I appreciate the opportunity to respond to the threats of declaring cities like Chicago a military target is extremely concerning, to say the least. It has deployed terror in our streets. Families who are scared of sending kids to school, businesses that are hurting, have been hurting for months. The deployment of military force in a city like Chicago, where we have not seen a level of, in terms of the number of violent crimes, we have not seen a summer with this, and there's still a lot of work to be done, but this has been the summer with the least amount of violent crimes since 1965. So this is not about safety. This is about more than distracting the American public. This is about covering up really problematic and really shameful behavior. You just mentioned about the decision of not releasing the Epstein files, and I think that this is tragic. In Chicago last week, we had a woman who just got in a recourse from a judge for a domestic violence incident, who just got detained right after that, right after the Epstein files victims spoke, was detained by ICE. This is nothing to do with safety. So you think it's a distraction?
Okay, you think it's a distraction. Now, on the crime numbers, I hear your point from earlier, and we've showed those numbers about the declines. That's what you said. But don't you agree, and here they are again, murder, shooting, robberies, burglaries, right side of your screen, the year-over-year change, it's a decline. But wouldn't you agree with the statement that those declines are from a level that is not acceptable, that's way too high? You said there's more work to be done. So that gets back to the question of the how. So you disagree with this. What should you be doing that's not being done right now if it's not this?
We should certainly be working with the states across the country. Look, the issue of gun violence and the issue of gun trafficking has a lot to do with what's going on in the streets of Chicago, and the level of homicides and violent crime actually has been drastically in the uprise in red states, including where Speaker Johnson is from. We see the gun trafficking. We see even.
Well, Trump's talked about maybe New Orleans as a place.
About safety, we should be working together.
You think he should go into other places too? But what does working together mean? Like, how would you work with the federal government? What's an example of something you would propose that would be a cooperation or collaboration?
Well, using what has been working. Look, $800 million in violence prevention programs, funding that the Trump regime is now withholding from us. $200 million in substance abuse programs that are also being withheld. $1 billion just in those programs that have been proven to work. I think that we got to work in rural, in urban areas, in red and blue states both, that are suffering from violence, from crime. And I think deploying the military force to silence people, to spread terror, to scare even domestic violence victims is not about safety. I think we have a regime that is silencing, that is really acting as an authoritarian regime, that is not cooperating with local authorities. We got to make sure that we put a stop to all of that. And I think that the military deployment in cities like Chicago has not made anybody, as for anybody in Chicago, no one feels safer, and no one is supporting this.
To be clear, not the military now, it's ICE and immigration authorities that the president does have control over. Alderman Lopez, we thank you for your time today. We'll stay on this issue from all sides. More coverage coming up. Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.